Good evening. This, the 104th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council, is now called to order. Please turn off all cell phones or put them on vibrate. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Norman Eaton of the Greater Hope Worship Center. After the invocation, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us bow our heads. Eternal and most gracious God, we thank you for this day, a day that we have never seen before and a day that we will never see again. We thank you, O God, for the activities of our limbs, the opportunity to see, O God, the opportunity to hear and to live. We ask you, O God, to bless this meeting, O God. Bless all those that are in attendance, O God. Bless the business that is at hand as you work together, O God, with all the heavenly angels to be able to incorporate us into your master plan. Thank you right now, God, for being God. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Eaton, thank you. The clerk will call the roll of the members.
President Young, Kraft, Scott, Curran, Henry Specter, Middleton, Mosby, Walsh, Costello, Stokes, Clark. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Today's showcase Baltimore presentation is students of the UMD Cure Scholars Program. Let's welcome them.
Good afternoon. My name is Shaq K. Franklin. I'm from Franklin Square Elementary Middle School. And today, I'm going to be talking about the EMB Care Program. Oh, and by the way, you can call me Dr. Franklin if you don't mind. Starting with why I'm in the program. I'm in the program because it's a science program, and science has always been very important to me. I say that because, like when I first started school, science was always dude, what are the stars? What is the sun? And then when I heard about it, and I really thought about it sometimes, and I was like, maybe it can be more things about science than just learning about the planets, the stars. And then the care program came along in 6th grade. So, and now since we're doing it, I'm learning about lipids, and I'm learning about fat and how milk is made. And I'm like, dude, I did not learn this at first. So now it's so awesome now. And it also helps my family and me. It helps me by not only giving me a scholarship, which is so awesome. It also helps me by motivating me to want to do my homework and motivating me to want to get to school on time. And I say this because if I do not do these things, I can no longer be in the program. And me or my mom doesn't want that. I can tell you that now. It helps my family by making sure we do not need anything, by making sure my mom is cool, and by also making sure that we have home visits. And it's also motivating my sister by making sure she does good, so when the time comes, she can also be in the program. And I have to say, that has been very awesome because now she wants to read a book. And before I was like, you know what, Nana, you should get a book. And she'll look at me like, boy, get out of my face. And I was like, you know what, remember that. So, and another important thing in my life is the future. And in it, I would like to attend City High School, and then after that, move on to Morehouse College, which is in Atlanta, and graduate and becoming a psychotherapist and a world-renowned lawyer. I see William P. Welch over there yes. And I'm like, yes. So, my favorite experiment by far is the lava lamp experiment. This is hilarious. I know it's not stand-up comedy. I'm reading you my speech.
No, you're good. You're doing good.
My favorite experiment was the lava lamp experiment. She didn't tell me they were clowns.
Oh, you're doing well, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say, my favorite experiment is the lava lamp experiment, and this was to show whether water was more dense than oil or vice versa. And this experiment was so awesome to me because I've seen lava lamps, and I'm like, don't you need electricity? And then Mr. McNally, our science teacher, was showing us no, you don't need electricity. You can make it on your own. You drop Alka-Seltzer in there, and it fizzed up. and like the result was that water is more dense than oil. So, and like that showed us like, cause like the water, it was 75% water and 25% oil. Like when you put it in there, at first I thought, well, maybe oil was lighter than water because it seemed like heavier when you lift it up. But it actually turned out to be that water is heavier than oil. So the water went to the bottom and oil went to the top. And like when we dropped the Alka-Seltzer in, it was like so awesome. And it started fizzing up. It was like, whoa, put the top back on, put the top back on. And then it was like Thursday. I was like, hey, guess what? Throwback Thursday. And then and that is all. Thank you. Have a good day. I know I will try.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, fellow scholars. My name is Naya Goins, and I attend Green Street Academy.
Take the mic out. Take it out for a whole second.
Today, I'm here with you all to tell you what the UMB Cure program is really about. It's not just about fun experiments. It's about learning and commitment. I came to this program because it has greater choices for me. I really like the activities we do in this program because it can help us day by day. My favorite experiment in this program is the 5-second rule because when we did the experiment, a lot of bacteria was left over. We did 2 trials to make sure it was a fair test. I really like this experiment because in the future it could help me if I see someone that's about to eat something with a lot of bacteria on it. I can stop them so they won't get sick. This program really impacts on my future because did you ever hear the saying, it's better to give than receive? I've received to get in such an amazing program. Maybe one day it will be my turn to give a chance like this to other kids that want a great education. Well, that's all the time I have for you today. Keep a watch over better kids and better education because one day we will be your future. My name is Naya Goins, and I am proud of myself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Davion Hill. I'm a 6th grader, and I go to SBCS, which is Southwest Baltimore Charter School. I wanted to be part of the CURE program to increase my knowledge of math and develop my skills for getting into a good high school and then going to college. I also wanted to get tutoring in all of my subjects so I can have better grades. The CURE program has already had an impact on my family because of all the hard work we have to do to keep in the program. We all have to get involved because it's an opportunity to get into the right school and get good training for a career. I'll be able to help myself and my family even in high school because I'll be able to earn money working in the laboratory. In the future, CURE will help me get into a good high school and college where I can learn more about science and math. I don't know what career I want to have when I get older, but I think it will have something to do with technology. CURE lets me test my interests out so I might choose something else, like chemistry in a few years. I like the experiments we do in the CURE program. So far, we've done 3. Well, not exactly 3, but yeah. The first one was using a special dish to test the 5-second rule. That rule is that you can still eat something if it hasn't been on the floor for more than 5 seconds. We chose 3 locations to take test samples from: the classroom and the restroom. In the restroom, we have dropped a piece of bologna on the floor and waited for 2.5 seconds. Then we swabbed the area where the bologna was and put the swab in the dish. Over the next week, bacteria grew in the dish, and we could see which area had the most bacteria. It was gross and cool at the same time. It was lots of bacteria in the plate. The second experiment was about rainbow milk. We had a mixture of buttermilk, which stank, and glue, and put food color in it to see how the color spread. We learned that some components work better than others in keeping the colors from combining. So when we put the food coloring in each milk, it did something weird. My favorite experiment we have done so far was making a lava lamp out of water, food coloring, and vegetable oil. When we mixed the oil and water together, the oil dropped to the bottom. No, to the top. Then we added food coloring and Alka-Seltzer, which created a gas and made the vegetable oil rise through the water to the top. I like this experiment because we got to make a cool thing from scratch using ordinary stuff without harmful chemicals. Thanks again for asking me to come, and see you later.
Thank you. Now, that's cool. That's what I'm talking about. They have other students here, too? If they all can stand up, let's give them a hand. And that's really cool. Thank you for all that you do, and if y'all have to leave, because I know the students have to go and study and make sure they get those cool experiments. I don't like the one with the baloney in the bathroom. All right, thank you again. But this is what we have to continue to support programs like these that makes a difference in the lives of our children, and it sparks their interest to be the best that they can be. So again, thank you for what you do. Tell Dr. Perman I said thanks. He kept his word, and to continue doing a great job and trying to make a difference in our schools. Thank you. It is the council custom to journalize. It is the council custom to journalize the invocation. Ask for motion to journalize the prayer. Motion by Councilman Scott, second by Councilman Kern. All those in favor of journalize the prayer say aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We'll now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of proceedings from the November 16th City Council meeting is on the council members' desks.
Is there a motion to approve the journal? Motion by Councilman Henry, second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of adopting the journal say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried and the journal is adopted. Bills signed by the mayor can be found on pages 2 to 3 of the agenda. Bills to be introduced.
Mayor and City Council Resolution 15-0597, Charter Amendment, Subdivision Regulation, Agency Endorsement. Mayor and City Council Resolution for the purpose of correcting an obsolete reference to the Department of General Services to reflect and conform with the transfer of certain powers and duties from that agency to the Department of Transportation, as mandated by Charter Resolution 14-016, and submitting this amendment to the qualified voters of the city for adoption or rejection. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0598, City Streets closing the beds of Berlin Street, Ontario Avenue, West Hamburg Street, and 2 10-foot alleys. Ordinance for the purpose of condemning and closing the beds of Berlin Street, Ontario Avenue, West Hamburg Street, and 2 10-foot alleys lying between the Gwynns Falls, Wacomico Street, Little Market Street, and Berlin Street in Mount Winans, as shown on Plat 101C60A, in the Office of the Department of Transportation, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, City Council President, on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Housing and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0599, zoning conditional use conversion of 2 units to 3 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district, 35 South Fulton Avenue. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the conversion of 2 dwelling units to 3 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district on the property known as 35 South Fulton Avenue, as outlined on red in the accompanying plat. Sponsor, Welsh.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0600, Plant Unit Development, Amendment 2, Greektown Redevelopment. Ordinance for the purpose of approving certain amendments to the development plan of the Greektown Redevelopment Plant Unit Development. Sponsor, Kraft.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0601, rezoning 609 through 611 South Caroline Street. Ordinance for the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 609 through 611 South Caroline Street, as outlined on red in the accompanying plat, from the B12 zoning district to the M3 zoning district. Sponsor Kraft.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0602, zoning conditional use parking, open off-street area, 1500 Fleet Street and 515 through 531 South Caroline Street. Ordinance for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the establishment, maintenance, and operation of a parking open off-street area on the properties known as 1500 Fleet Street and 515 through 531 South Caroline Street, as outlined in red in the accompanying plat. Sponsor Kraft.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee. Resolution to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 15-0278R, informational hearing, changes to food supplement program benefit schedule. Resolution for the purpose of requesting that representatives from the Health Department and the State Department of Human Resources appear before the City Council to discuss the change in the SNAP benefit distribution schedule, the short and long-term pluses and minuses of the shift, and what resources are available to assist SNAP recipients who may experience difficulties in feeding their families while the benefit schedule is adjusted. Sponsor Clark, President Young, Kraft, Costello, Middleton, Henry Stokes.
Please note Councilman Kern, Councilwoman Spector, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Scott, Councilman Welch as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes, I said Spector. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the City Council, thanks to the chair of the Health Committee and to his own good health now, we'll be having a hearing very soon, within the next 2 weeks, on this issue because it is urgent. There are two issues before us. One is that the state of Maryland is increasing the number of days a month that food stamp recipients are assigned to receive their benefits and then go and shopping and go spend them. And they're moving on a rolling through the month basis. The state is going from 10 days a month to 20 days a month, where alphabetically recipients will be spread out to receive their benefits. The problem is that while this change is going on, a lot of recipients are delayed in receiving their food stamp benefits, and we just want to make sure through oversight with our own health department and the state that if people are running out of benefits in those 20 days, there's help for them in the interim. This is a one-time only change. It's going on over the next couple months, and where a lot of people will have to wait maybe 5 extra days for their benefits. But after that, the benefits will come regularly again, within the 1 month of each other. My colleague, and Mr. President, if I may ask you, the chair to oblige, has her own issue with this very food stamp distribution through the EBT cards, and we are adding that to this resolution for witnesses come forward and testify about the card benefit. Councilwoman, you want to say?
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Spector.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam colleague. Mr. President, members of the council, I really appreciate what my colleague has done. I've been working for several weeks on an issue that I become aware of from my constituents, and it's in addition to the stretching out of the dates that these cards, or the dates that the distribution of these redemption amounts are available to the user. The other part that is troubling in my district, and I'm not sure if it's not a problem throughout the city, but I've been working on it for several weeks and tried everywhere to get answers, is that this EBT, food stamp program, we need to know if the redemption for food stamps is down overall, Or is there a change in the food stamp redemption amount for EBD users in Baltimore City? We have been aware of a change in the distribution for formulas for other issues, as we had the attention a few weeks ago with less money being distributed to our senior centers through a formula. And I am thinking that this is a pattern, that there might be another way of distributing the federal funding, and that Baltimore City recipients are maybe not actually receiving the same or maybe less than they were getting by the way they changed the distribution of the formula for the people that are entitled to this statewide. So I will, with the help of the lead sponsor, get an amendment ready at the hearing so that we can deal with this issue of whether or not our users are getting less funds for food stamps because the formula has changed, not the distribution dates.
So we'll handle both things in the hearing, and we're concerned that not only might there be a lapse and we need to help with extra food,
Money.
but also with the EBT cards, and are the recipients getting less money than their award amounts? Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Health Committee. Go ahead.
City Council Resolution 15-0279R, Task Force on Improving Baltimore City's Inclusionary Housing Program. Resolution for the purpose of calling for the creation of a task force to propose revisions to Baltimore City's inclusionary housing program, which will increase the supply, distribution, and quality of affordable housing across the city so that we can better meet the needs and demands of current and future residents. Sponsor Henry, President Young, Kraft, Costello, Middleton, Stokes, Clark.
Please note that Councilman Scott, Councilman Kern, Councilman Mosby, Councilman Welch, Councilwoman Spector, as co-sponsors. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. So for several months now, as the chair of the Housing and Community Development Committee, I've been meeting with individual stakeholders who are involved in the inclusionary housing program. I've been over to meet with the Inclusionary Housing Board, who came and reported to us last year that at that point, 7 years of history, the inclusionary housing program had created 32 units of inclusionary housing at a cost to the city of approximately $2 million. What we have established in meeting with the Inclusionary Housing Board, with members of the administration, with advocates for housing, and with representatives from the development and home building community is we've identified two particular areas of concern in our program to try to create more affordable and inclusionary housing in the city. One is a lack of sustainable funding to provide the subsidy for those units, and the other is how the city sort of helps steer where those units are created and how much subsidy they get and how we can get the most bang for our buck. The administration has actually stepped up, and this was announced I think 2 weeks ago, that in the coming round of bond questions there will be a dedicated question for affordable housing funds, and that will be $3 million a year over 2 budget years to go into the Affordable Housing Fund to subsidize units. But the work still remains on how can we have a program that best spends that money so that as many Baltimoreans as possible can take advantage of that help from the city to make sure that they are living in quality and dignified affordable housing. And so the council president is putting together this task force made up of representatives of the different stakeholder groups that have been participating in these conversations. I thank all of my co-sponsors for tonight's resolution, and I hope to be back before you in a matter of months with defined legislative fixes to our program that will improvement for the betterment of all. So at this point, I would ask for a suspension of the rules to permit immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of suspending rules for immediate adoption of this resolution say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of this resolution.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 15-0279R, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Henry. You can find the consent calendar in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Motion by Councilman Scott, second by Councilwoman Middleton. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This calendar is approved. We now move the bills on second reader. Executive appointments.
EA 15-0303, Dana Peterson Moore, Member, Planning Commission, 14th District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee held a hearing on Wednesday, December the 2nd, 2015. I move this nominee favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. Please note that Councilman Costello abstained. This nomination is confirmed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Mr. President, move short titles for the remainder of the meeting.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of short titles for the remainder of the meeting, say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carries. We will short title for the remainder of the meeting. Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0467, Departments of Public Works, Transportation, and General Services, conforming code references to charter allocations.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee met on December 1st. This is a corrective bill, and what this does is goes through the code, and over some period of time now, Public Works, Transportation, and DPW, and General Services, have all switched hats in the sense of one day Public Works did it, the next day General Service did it, the next day Transportation did it, the next day Public Works did it again, next day after that General Service did it again, and it's like fouling the proverbial peanut under the shell. This is supposed to tell us where the peanut ended up. Anyway, there are amendments on the member's desk. I would move the amendments at this time.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving the amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve the amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Move the bill favorably as amended.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving this bill, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 15-0590, Demolition, etc., of city structures.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, we heard this bill on December 1st. As a result of the hearing, we move to send the bill back to committee at this time.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of sending this bill back to committee, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and this bill is in the Judiciary Committee.
Mayor and City Council Resolution 15-0591, Solid Waste Management Plan for 2013 to 2023, amendments.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we heard this bill also on December 1st of this year. And Mr. President, as we know, the Maryland Department of Environment can be very temperamental, and every so often they decide that they need to have some different language in the law, and when they do, they contact the Department of Public Works and they tell us it's time to change the language in the law. That's what this that's what this bill does. We move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving this resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This motion to approve this mayor and city council resolution moves to third reader.
City Council Resolution 15-0274R, Investigative Hearing, Public Housing Residents, Sexual Abuse Allegations.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this bill was heard on November 23rd. Mr. President, I was ill that evening, and the hearing was conducted by the Vice Chair, Councilwoman Clark. I would defer to her at this time.
Okay, Chair recognizes Councilwoman Clark.
Mr. President, members of the council, first I will move for approval of the committee report, if I may have a second.
Second by Councilman Kraft.
Thank
All
you.
those in favor of this, adopt this.
I was going to just say that we had a
Excuse me.
long, we
Can I ask you for clarity?
Yeah,
You moved the resolution.
Favorably.
There was a second.
Right.
So we need to carry
did
the
I
vote
do that
through.
all over again? I'm sorry.
No, we're going to carry the vote through, and then you can go ahead and talk.
Okay, I
Okay.
just wanted to report, first of all, I'm glad to see my colleague is feeling better. And appreciated the opportunity, along with the Judiciary Committee, to hold this important hearing on behalf of the City Council and on behalf of our citizens and residents. And basically, we received a long report from the Commissioner of Housing. We asked a number of questions pertaining to the resolution of this issue. We heard from residents, we heard from employees, current and former, of the Housing Authority of Baltimore City. And by and large, it was a very informative and helpful meeting to us to be brought up to date. Basically, as we've heard since, for the pledges that have been made, that was also the day of the announcement that 50 new employees would be hired by the Housing Authority of Baltimore City, most of them mechanical technicians who are, the commissioner described as professionals who had the ability to do a number of different tasks within a given unit or building. So they can do minor repairs of all kinds. So come to a unit that needs help and fixing and do a lot of the work that is of a minor nature, not major. So I understand that those employees are being hired, and we hope so, because although the hearing was very successful, we are now hearing that the promised fix-ups, repairs, etc., need to be on an accelerated path and are not. And so we're looking for, it is the holiday season, and Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and so let's get these units fixed up, at least for the holidays, after all the years that people have waited. We also continue to follow the investigations, et cetera, around sexual favors being required, which was at the center of this hearing, being required for any maintenance at all by employees of the Housing Authority. We came to no conclusions, obviously. We heard testimony, but we are following the investigation. Thank you.
Councilman, are you going to move the bill?
I think it was moved by the councilwoman. I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries. This resolution is adopted. Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 13-0299, zoning conditional use conversion of a one-family dwelling unit to a two-family dwelling unit in the R8 zoning district, variances 2642 McElderly Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, there are findings of fact on the member's desk. Move the findings of fact.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, there are amendments on the member's desk, and move the amendments.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the amendments say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, move the bill favorably as amended.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
Thank you, Mr.
Taxation,
President.
Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0565, personal property tax credits, food desert incentive areas.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee did hear this bill on November 24. It's a tax credit. It's a personal property tax credit. It's not a real property tax credit. It is personal property tax credit. Bill would help to provide accessibility for healthy food choices, would help to attract and retain supermarkets in areas designated as food deserts. Now, there is one amendment on our desk. The amendment is technical in nature and specify that supermarkets must be qualified supermarkets. I move the amendment that is before us.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve the amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Yes, Mr. President, I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 15-0579, Fire and Police Employees Retirement Systems, Regular Interest.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill just clarified the definition of regular interest in the bill that preceded this. I had no unfavorables. I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 15-0586, University of Maryland, Baltimore Biopark Development District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Development team, Wexford Science and Technology, proposes to construct a new building within the University of Maryland Baltimore Biopark located at 873 West Baltimore Street. Proposed development would include over 250,000 gross square feet of newly constructed innovation and laboratory infrastructure. The project will bring a branch of the Massachusetts-based firm Cambridge Innovation Center to Baltimore. The center will include research, library, and office space. A capital investment of approximately $105,863,835 is required for the project. So there again were no unfavorable reports, and I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 15-0588, University of Maryland, Baltimore.
Ms. Trueheart, please. Check, Councilman Stokes. Ms. Trueheart, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave this chambers if you keep acting up. Where's the, get the, officer, Councilman, go ahead. Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
City Council Bill 15-0588, University of Maryland, Baltimore Biopark Special Taxing District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this particular bill creates the special taxing district. It does not, at this point, allow the bonds to be sold for the project. It creates a special tax district. The third bill to create any funds and bonding purposes will happen at a later time. This special tax to be levied will not exceed the special benefit that the properties will receive from the development project and will be a fair allocation of the cost of the project to each property in the special taxing district. We spoke to it in the previous bill, exactly what it is. There is an amendment before us on this particular project. It is on the desk of all our members, and I move the amendment.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. All opposed, nay. The amendments are approved. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Welch. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Any opposed? All those, this bill moves to third reader. Thank you, Chairman Stokes. Urban Affairs and Aging Committee.
City Council Bill 15-0564, Waterfront Management District, Extension of District.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee heard this bill on December 3rd, 2015. There are technical amendments on your desk. I move the amendments favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The amendments are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Middleton.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
Excuse me? Okay, second, is there a second? Second by Kraft. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. This bill moves to third reader.
Thank you.
Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 15-0549, release of right-of-way, a 20-foot wide right-of-way through the former bed of Tyson Street. President Young, Kraft, Scott, Curran, Henry, Spector, Middleton, Walsh, Costello, Stokes, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 15-0563, sale of property, a portion of the former bed of Cardiff Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I apologize, Mr. President. I do have an amendment for this third reader that is on the desk.
That mic works. Go ahead. The mic works.
So there is an amendment on the desk of everyone, Mr. President. I move the floor amendment. It corrects the size of the bed of Cardiff Avenue.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this amendment say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. This amendment is adopted. This bill will be on third reader for final passage at the next meeting of the City Council. Bills withdrawn.
City Council Bill 15-0592, sale of property, NES Pennsylvania Avenue, 140 feet, 4 inches northwest of West Franklin Street.
Committee announcements. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, the Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will hear Council Bill 15-0590, demolition of city structures, on Wednesday, December 9th, 2015, at 12:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kern. Any more committee announcements on this side? Committee announcements over here? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to suspend the 10-2 and 10-3, the appropriate rules to announce a hearing for a resolution that was introduced tonight.
Second by Councilman Kraft. All those in favor of suspending the rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Councilman Kern, you can announce your hearing.
The Health Committee will meet on City Council Resolution 15-0278R on Thursday, December 17, 2015, at 4:00 p.m. on the resolution for the informational hearing changes to food supplement program benefit schedule was introduced tonight by the gentle lady from the 14th District. That will be heard on Thursday, December 17th of 2015 at 4:00 in Two Burns Chambers.
Thank you. Regular announcements. Chair recognizes Councilman Kraft.
Mr. President, I'd like to have a moment of silence this evening for Mr. Bob Adams. He was a longtime resident of Armstead Gardens. He passed away yesterday. He was also my uncle. My father had three brothers and 9 sisters, and he's the last one of all of them that were left. So he passed away last evening. I'd also like to wish a happy birthday to both my wife, I know she's watching tonight, so happy birthday, Tammy, and to my grandson, who's not watching tonight, but happy birthday, Jake. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Spector, I'm going to let you close out the meeting. Give it to Spector.
After a moment of silence for Mr. Bob Adams, the next meeting of the City Council will be held Thursday, December 10th. That's this Thursday at 5 p.m.
Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the 104th meeting of the 71st term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.